going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, I'm going to be ranking the top 10 champion buffs of 2021 so far. So this is just going to include this year. It won't include like Magneto or Colossus, Venom or Carnage, nothing like that, just the ones this year. So starting in January and up till July. So there's a lot of champions that have been buffed. I think it's around 20, but there's only 10 in my opinion that really stand out as being like largely improved. Like a lot have been improved. Like Ronan got slightly improved, but hardly anything. So he's basically the same champion. So stuff like that won't be making the list. Ebony Maw won't be making the list. But we're going off the criteria of both improvement and how good the champion is now. So someone like, what's his name? Like, once again, Ronan didn't see a lot of improvement, but he's still a good champion. But since he didn't see anything improved, he will not be making the top 10. So those are the criteria I'm going off on this video. And before I just lose any of you with this explanation, let's just get started with number 10. All right, so coming in at number 10 is Black Panther OG. So I find this guy's buff to be very hit or miss. There's a lot of people who actually like it a lot, and there's a ton of people who hate it. It is a very skilled buff in the fact that you need to be an intercepting god. This is like, Realm of Legends is absolutely not the ideal place to be using him because the opponent AI is very passive here, and you want an extremely active AI, throwing specials, dashing into you so you can get those intercepts up. But if you can have some actually really insane damage out of this guy. His bleeds are very potent in this phase where you have Panthers and Might. It's very annoying to keep Panthers and Might up because you have to be, like, once again, extremely aggressive. But if you can, it's actually really good. Right there, I missed an intercept off of special 2, which actually gives you a lot more damage off of it. I think it's like guaranteed crits or something. But you can see the damage here in this phase hasn't been that bad, but he's also playing extremely passively, so it could be a lot better. So this buff is very interesting because it is definitely making Black Panther a lot more usable. I know the Hercules synergy is actually very good for this buff because it makes him better. I don't know what it does exactly, but it helps him out a lot. So keep that in mind that he can be better than the gameplay in this video, especially considering this is just a rank 4 or 5 star. So this isn't the craziest damage you're going to see, and I'm also not very good at playing him, so that's another thing. But right there you saw it was a nice special 2 with good damage, and now my bleeds are stacking up. So that was one phase of Panther's Might. You could keep it up a lot easier in a fight. But yeah, I really think this buff was great for Black Panther. I know it's not the best, that's why he's not ranking higher, but the improvement that he saw and how good he is now is reason for me to put him on this list. So that is why I think he's one of the best champions that has been buffed so far this year. And you can feel to disagree with the spot. I know it's kind of a controversial one, but in my opinion, I think it was a pretty good buff. So he comes in at number 10. All right, so at number 9 is one of the newest buff champions, and that is going to be Bishop. So this is only a rank 1 6-star Bishop, completely unleveled, so I've poured no ISO into this guy. So imagine just a rank 3 5-star unawakened. So that's what the damage you're looking at here. But Bishop's buff is really good, I find. So you can build up these prowess really nicely. I think I'm a lot better at playing him than a lot of people would be because I've been playing Mr. Negative so much, so I know how to parry a lot of special attacks and stuff now. Especially off this Winter Soldier, I can get a lot of prowess off one parry off this special one. But he's being a little bit stingy, not throwing it. You want a fairly aggressive AI, so right here, I get more prowess. I'm up to 45. We throw the special attack to some nice damage. 6k non-crits, 16k crits. That's what we like to see off of this Bishop. So his damage has gone up a lot. Not on his base because, well, for obvious reasons. He's a very big prowess champion, so he's similar to like Havoc or Sunspot in that sense, where the base damage isn't going to be crazy bonkers, but the special damage is going to carry you through the fight. He gets this like energy vulnerability thing off his special 3 now, which is helpful if you throw special 1, because then I think you do even more damage with the burst damage off that. And then the best thing about his buff is that it finally took away that stupid damage back, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing for what is it called, when you're fighting him, but a bad thing when you're using him, or no. Good thing when you're using him, bad thing when you're fighting him, because you used to be able to cheese him with like Dr. Doom and stuff, but you can't do that anymore because it's been taken away from his kit. You can actually see that Incinerate is ticking for like 1,200, so that's actually really nice off the special too. But yeah, Bishop is a very simple buff, just more damage off the special attacks for just a champion that was never really awful in the first place. Just not very usable, but now he is usable. So that is my thoughts on Bishop, so he's coming in at spot number 9. All right, so number 8 is just a fantastic buff. It was not a huge buff, but it was something so substantial for the character that he now, in my opinion, is a top 10 cosmic, and that's Odin. So Odin pre-buff was good in his Odin sleep fights, absolutely useless and garbage in his non-Odin sleep fights. But now He's really freaking good in his Odin Sleep fights, and he's still very good in his non-Odin Sleep fights. So basically, the buff was you get more damage in your Odin Sleep phase, but you also get more damage in your non-Odin Sleep phase. And by that, I mean you get a lot more damage. So before, you wouldn't have like the Fury in your non-Odin Sleep phase. You'd have basically nothing. You'd be working with like no damage essentially. But with this new buff, you will have more damage in this phase right here. This is the first fight I've been using him for, so we have Odin Sleep active, so we're doing a lot of damage, because you can see we have that amplitude, whereas in the Odin Sleep phase where you don't have it, you just don't get that amplitude, but you still get the Fury buff for your damage. So in this fight, off the special 2, we did a 17k energy damage, which is kind of crazy, because this is a rank 3 3-star, so that's not very high at all ranking, but that's a lot of damage coming off of him. So off of like this fight, when I don't have Odin Sleep, it'd probably still be doing around like 13 to 15k damage, so it's still very significant change when you do have Odin Sleep active, but it's not absolutely necessary, which is so important, because that Odin Sleep mechanic was so annoying because you wouldn't be able to use them every fight in a row. Now, it's still not the best if you do, but it is so much better. You can do it. It's not completely unviable. It's actually pretty good still, so the buff has just made him such a good champion in the terms that he can really do every fight that you need him to on a quest. So, awesome buff in my opinion. I think it's just amazing. I really want to get this guy as a 6-star, so hopefully for my next 6-star featured crystal I can get him, because I would definitely take this guy up to rank 3. He is awesome. So, Odin for me comes in at number 8. Alright, so then coming in at number 7, we have Crossbones. So, Crossbones, let me get this straight. Absolutely insane buff, completely amazing. If you are running Mangog Synergy constantly. In this fight, I'm not running the Mangog Synergy, so playing him without it is actually so much more stressful, and not, I wouldn't say it's like unrealistic, but it is definitely not as easy if you are running Mangog, when you are running Mangog. So it's just, the buff is very strange without him, but it's still very good. So you can see you get a bunch of Furies with this guy in his overrun phase, and they lower the opponent's ability accuracy, which is an amazing ability, but when you have Mangog, they get plus 50% duration, so it's much easier to keep them up. You refresh them with you pause them with your heavy attack. Right here, we just entered our overrun phase, so we can get a lot of these Furies. Right here, I'm going to pause them, and it sometimes refreshes with that pause if you land the Fury on the heavy attack. So we're up to 9 Furies right now. I'm going to throw another one. It refreshes and pauses, so we're at 8. I'm just spamming in the corner so that we can keep those Furies paused for as long as possible until our next overrun. So as you can see, the damage is really good. This is a rank 5 5-star Crossbones. I took him up a while ago and did a gameplay video for him, so if you want to check that out, you can. I was running the Mangog Synergy in that video. You can see how crazy he can be against some like Abyss or just Labyrinth opponents, but even in this fight, he's doing really good. The hit count is low, the damage is high, but I have been playing very well. This is a very stressful fight in terms that you want to keep those Furies up the whole time. Right now we're at 16, but those are the damage, you can't lie. That was like a 18k heavy attack. I was at 18k again. Right here, I keep getting clipped. This is not my best gameplay because it was like when parry was being all weird still. So right here, I go for overrun, and I do refresh most of the Furies. I lost a few, but I'm at 15 right now. I think I throw a special 2 right now, and you'll see the damage off of that. So it's just really crazy what he can do, because the damage, you can't deny it's amazing. But the gameplay, the rotation is a little bit stressful. And honestly, he wasn't an awful champion before. Like, he had his uses. So that is why he's not placing higher, because as an overall champion, I might place him higher on this list, but since the buff didn't see like the huge improvement that some of the people did above him, I'm going to keep him at this spot for now. So still an amazing buff, and he comes in for me at number 7. Alright, so Diablo comes in at the number 6 spot. Now, Diablo's buff is actually kind of insane, so I am not that good at playing him, I will admit this, but I've seen so many people take theirs up to rank 3 recently and just do absolutely crazy things with him. So I think the correct rotation is you throw off like 2 special 2s, get up to 8 of those like gray poison things, those Vows of Might, that's what they're called, and then you just go kind of crazy with your damage. So you get a lot of poison stacked up, and then the opponent just drops. So I'm not running Suicides, and he does benefit extremely great from Suicides. This is also only a rank 1 4-star. I do not have any version of him higher than that, which is kind of tragic, but you know what? I still want to get some gameplay in. And you can see that the poisons, they're at 10 right now, so off a rank 3 6-star, they can do close to like 200 damage each. So if you take like 10 of those, that's 2,000 damage per second. or no, 2,000 damage per half tick, 4,000 damage per second. That's crazy. And a better player can keep up these poisons a lot more effectively than I can. I'm not the best with him, but just the damage increase is absurd. The utility is pretty solid off him as well, but I just see him as one of the absolute best buffs. He has some nice damage, not some nice damage, some crazy damage. The only reason he doesn't place higher is because in poison immune matchups, he is kind of booty cheeked, but aside from that, in any poison matchup, he's going to be one of your best options now, so... Diablo buff, I don't have much to say because I don't have him personally. He ranked up highly, but the amount of people I see taking him up just makes me like sure that he is one of the top champion buffs of the year. So for now, he comes in at number 6, but depending on how much you like him or play him, could be higher or lower. So yeah, that's where I keep him now, but feel free to change it if you want. So we're going to move on to number 5 next. And at that number 5 spot is Mr. Fantastic. So honestly, this is probably going to be the shortest explanation that I have because Mr. Fantastic buff is quite simple. He becomes like a void in a sense, in that he has these debuffs that last for so long. They can do damage over time. I do not have my Mr. Fantastic Awakened, also a rank 1 5-star. I have absolutely no idea how to play him, so this is probably really, really tragic gameplay. But when you have him Awakened, I see damage that goes absolutely bonkers, through the roof, insane. And it's like 32k like mediums with him or something like that. It just absolutely crazy numbers. So yeah, I know that a lot of people love him, and when I see the gameplay of him with all these like rank 3 6-stars now popping up, I just know he's one of the best champion buffs. Since I just don't have mine ranked up, I haven't taken the chance to get to know him or get to see how good he is, but I know that a lot of people consider him like a top 5 science champion at this point because the buff for him really was amazing because he was still a good champion before. All he was missing was that substantial damage, and now he has that. So honestly, he's probably like the second best Fantastic Four member, outranking Thing now. But it was just an amazing buff. I don't know how to play him, so I'm going to cut away from this section of the video, but I know that people love him so much, and I know that I was impressed just looking at all the buff gameplay. So he comes in at number 5, and I feel pretty confident in saying that because he is not like seeing the greatest like overall improvement, but in terms of how good the champion, he is stupid good. So number 5, we're going to move off this section now, and we're going to get into our 4th spot where it starts getting really insane. So let's go to number 4. Alright, so our 4th spot is Angela, and similar to you, Mr. Fantastic, I don't have her at a high rank, so you're not going to be seeing huge numbers off of her, but her buff was so good. So you get a lot more damage now because there's armor breaks off your special attacks depending on how many buffs you have, which is amazing. She pairs really well with Odin now because of that mechanic, because the amplitude can actually help her Furies be even more insane, and they also place extra armor buffs on her. So Odin plus Odin plus Angela is kind of insane. And additionally, depending on how high of a sig you have Angela, each of her buffs will block out a certain amount of damage from damage over time effects. So I think at Sig 200, it blocks out like 34% of incoming damage. So if you have 3 buffs, you're completely immune to debuffs, and that's just like absurd. So she's one of the by far best options for Icarus nodes because you're not going to be taking any of the degen damage. Great for Biohazard, great with Suicides because you're not going to be throwing that many special attacks. Her base damage is still where you're going to see the most sauce. But yeah, her buff was amazing, because nobody was really using Angela before. Like, people were still soloing Abyss Darkhawk with like Mr. Fantastic and stuff, but nobody was soloing any Abyss of Angela, and nobody was really using her in any other content. So this buff, in my opinion, just sent her through the roof in terms of usability and just how good she is. So I think he was an amazing buff, and for me, she comes in at number 4. Then at number 3, we have Big Fatty himself, Kingpin. So Kingpin's buff was just, once again, absolutely incredible. You can see we start off with these rage stacks where if you're running Suicides, you can basically have a very high chance to cleanse all of those Suicides immediately. And then if you start taking damage, you're going to have these constant rage debuffs on you, so willpower healing is just going to keep you topped off for the rest of the fight. You have so much unstoppable and so much damage mitigation with Kingpin, so in this fight against Winter Soldier, you see I'm like not even going to be trying. and I'm just still going to be sending him into like the shadow realm. So I did 3 heavy attacks in a row there, got this big fury, and I got all my rage stacks converted to a big damage. Sadly, no crits over there, but the damage is just really good on King. I can't speak, Jesus Christ. It's like 7k mediums off of Kingpin now, and he's so usable because there's so many lanes in Act 7 where you get like a ton of debuffs on you that don't really do a lot of damage, but with Kingpin you can shrug them all off and turn it into more damage. So it's just absolutely absurd. You saw like 11k heavy attack right there, which is just bonkers off of a rank 5, not rank 5, rank 4 5-star, especially considering this is definitely not an ideal matchup for Kingpin. Like, this is very baseline. There, 15k heavy attack, just so satisfying to use him because that belly bump feels like so powerful. Yeah, you can see I'm messed up a lot in this fight, gotten hit a lot, and I'm still above 90% because of that willpower healing. So he's by far one of the best options if you want to run suicides, by far one of the best options in debuff matchups, and he is just amazing. I don't see a lot of downsides with this buff because he's just so usable now. So honestly, he's just amazing now. I love Kingpin. I really do want to take him up to rank 5 eventually. So yeah, he comes in at number 3. Definitely one of the top tier buffs, and he's really, the top 3 I think are in a league of their own. So Kingpin starts off that league, and he's amazing. So I'm going to move into the next spot. Alright, number 2 is a buff that I have just absolutely fallen in love with in every way. My favorite buff of the year so far, and it's Ultron. So Ultron has become a literal powerhouse. He was always good before, in the terms that he had some base utility with the double immunities, he had armor up, had regen, just didn't have damage. And now he has tons of damage and even more utility than before. So still a great Havoc counter with those armor ups. Yes, I know I say that every video there is an armor up, but I don't care, just accept it. But his damage right here, you're going to see, I'm going to throw off this heavy attack with all these functions, and we're going to go absolutely crazy with the damage. So basically, you want to throw off your heavy attack to place bleeds and then intercept or just throw a special 2 to get those into your cauterized furies right there. Boom, 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 boom. 12k hits, and now you're going to be seeing the real damage. So 10k mediums off him. Just what? This was never seen off of Ultron before. The bleeds are going absolutely crazy. I throw a special 1, 16k mediums now, like 10k light attacks. Just absolutely just bonkers damage off a champion that never used to hit even close to this hard. Another special one, 24k and 13k mediums. Just the damage is so good on him now. His functions provide a lot of utility. He has that evade mechanic, which can be really useful if you know how to use it. Like, if you're against a Mangog and you have a special 2 ready, you're going to want to wait for that evade, and then you can just evade the entire thing without getting hit once. So stuff like that is super clutch with Ultron now. He still has those double regens throughout the fight, which are absolutely amazing for topping off your health. He has bleed and poison immunity, just like he did before, but he now additionally has, I think, shock and incinerate resistance to like 80%. It's either 80 or 90%. So that's crazy. As I said, bleed's insane, but you don't need them to be good in the fight because his damage is big enough on its own. He's just amazing. It's one of the greatest buffs in the game, in my opinion, and I was so close to putting him to number 1 just because of how much I love him, but I do have to accept facts and admit that one champion is slightly better than him because that champion is just so good now. So many people have taken him to rank 3, but Ultron can't deny how amazing he is, and he comes in at number 2, but very close to number 1. So that means at our number 1 spot, I just have to give it to Mole Man. Mole Man is undeniable in the fact that he is probably the best buff champion of the year. He went from no damage, super hard to keep up phase of damage, to super easy to keep up phase and damage, a lot of damage. He's just an absolute powerhouse now. This is, once again, not very highly ranked, a rank 2 4-star, so not going to be seeing that much crazy damage off here, but it's so easy to get into his damage phase. He has great shrug off ability right there. As you saw, I got stunned, but I just shrugged it off immediately. His heavy attacks will build you up into that frenzy so fast, and it is so easy to stay in frenzy. While you're here, you have guaranteed crits, and just, like, what? Guaranteed crits, guaranteed bleeds on every single hit. You never stop critting or bleeding, so it's absolutely stupid. So crit me with your best shot, insane for. Bleed vulnerability, insane for. Just, there's so many nodes and combinations that Mole Man will absolutely slay if you have him. And this is just like a very lowly ranked damage Mole Man. But if you get him up into like that rank 3 6-star level, rank 5 5-star, you're going to be seeing absurd numbers off him. And when you don't have him in this phase, you have true accuracy, so you can ignore, evade, and auto block if you want to. So Mole Man is just, I don't even know how to explain how good he is. You really just gotta play him yourself, and you'll notice that it really is a special buff. So I do hate to say that he is better than Ultron, but truly he is. I can't really point out any flaws in this buff. It is so good, makes him so useful. I've seen so many people with rank 3 Mole Men in war, just basic questing, and he is by far one of the best champion buffs ever, and definitely the best of the year. So he comes in and he snags that #1 spot. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave your rankings of the best champions below. You can do all 20, you can do just the top 10, top 5. I don't really care. I would love to see what you guys think of it, though, and what you think of my rankings. Now, my next video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be doing some Black Widow Deadly Origins gameplay, but I won't be talking about the gameplay. I'll actually be reviewing the Marvel movie that came out. So I'm going to try and make a new series like that on my channel where I do Marvel reviews and gameplay of that character at the same time. So let me know if you are excited to see that, because I'll be working on it later today. But yeah, I do also want to know what kind of more top 10s you would want to see me do, because I am starting to run out of ideas, but I'm sure you guys can help me think of some. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.